All right, in problem number 3, we have 40 boys who are going to Boy Scout camp at Many Point. Now, Many Point is actually a Boy Scout camp here in Minnesota, um, but these aren't actual boys, at least none that I know of. So what it says here is that of the 40 boys that went to camp, 14 fell into the lake, 13 contracted poison ivy, 16 were lost on the orientation hike. 3 boys got poison ivy and fell in the lake. 5 boys fell in the lake and got lost. 8 got poison ivy and were also lost. 2 boys experienced all 3 mishaps. And the question is, how many boys in this troop escaped with none of these mishaps? All right. Well, these poor guys, they're having a bad they're having a bad time. So, um, but I guess my hint to you would be to try using a Venn diagram. Now, um, Venn, whoops, Venn is just the name of the guy who invented this technique, and it's very useful. So, let's see, John Venn lived in the 1800s, and he invented something called the Venn diagram, which helps you visualize sets or groups of objects. So Venn diagram, okay? So this is very useful. So what is a Venn diagram? Well, what we can do is we can draw a circle, and we'll say that this circle represents the set of all the boys who fell in the lake. So I'm going to write fell in lake. Okay? And then, oh, see, we also have some boys that got poison ivy, but not all of those boys that got poison ivy also fell in the lake. But some actually had both mishaps. So I'm going to draw that like this. So these are the boys who got poison ivy. Poison ivy. Oops. Okay, so now we know some of those boys were in both categories. So the set over here on the right represents those that only got poison ivy. On the left are those that only fell in the lake, and those in the middle are in both groups. Okay? So we have some that are in each one and some that are both, and we also have some that are in neither. Okay? But we've also got one more mishap. Some of these boys got lost on the orientation hike. So let's draw another circle overlapping with these two, and this circle will represent all those boys who got lost. Okay? And we know that some of the boys got lost and fell in the lake, so that's represented here in the overlapping part. Some of the boys got lost and got poison ivy, and so that's represented in this overlapping part. And then some of the boys actually had all 3 things happen to them, and that is represented by the intersection of all 3. So I'm going to actually trace over this so it's nice and dark. Okay? And we actually know what's in there. We've got that information. It says that 2 boys experienced all 3 mishaps. So we can actually say that the number of boys in this category here is 2. All right? All right, so I'm starting to solve the problem. So if you want to stop here and work on it some more using this Venn diagram, go ahead. But what I'm going to do is try to now put all of these boys that were mentioned up here into the sets, okay, or into these groups. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and solve it now. All right, so we've already said that, okay, there were 2 boys that had all 3 things happen to them. What else do we know? Let's just work backwards here. We know that 8 boys got poison ivy and were lost. Okay, so Here's lost, here's poison ivy, and so there's 8 boys in this overlapping group. Now 2 of those 8 boys also fell in the lake, but since we're only dealing with a set um, had poison ivy and got lost, so there were 8 total, so there's 6 out here because we already have 2 accounted for because 2 had all 3 missteps happen. Okay, so the total that had both poison ivy and got lost is 8, but there's 6 that are not in this category in the middle that had all 3 things happen. Okay, does that make sense? So let's again work backwards. We have 5 boys that fell into the lake and got lost. Okay, so here's fell into the lake, here's lost. We have 5 boys. We have 2 that are already accounted for because they had all 3 things happen. So we need 3 more to make 5. So now we have 5 total. So we had 3 that fell in the lake and got lost only, and 2 that fell in the lake and got lost and had the 3rd thing happen to them too. Okay? Alright, so the next one backwards. Let's see. 3 boys got poison ivy and fell into the lake. Okay, so we already have 2 accounted for here. So here's poison ivy, here's fell into the lake, so we need 1 more to make 3. Okay? Now, let's see. So let's keep working backwards. We know that 16 boys total were lost on the orientation hike. We've already got 6 plus 2 plus 3, which is 11 boys. So we need, let's see, 16 boys were lost on the orientation hike. So that means, yeah, we got 11. So we need 5 more out here to make 16. Okay, so 16 boys total, which would be 5 plus 3 plus 2 plus 6, so 16. 16 boys total were lost on the orientation hike. Okay, so now we've got all of those accounted for. 13 contracted poison ivy. Alright, so we've got here 9 boys that are already accounted for. So we just need 4 more to make 13. Okay, so now we have 13 boys total that got poison ivy. And finally, how many boys fell in the lake? 14 boys fell in the lake, and we already have 6 accounted for, so we need 8 more. So 8 more boys fell into the lake only. Alright, so now we have all the boys that had some kind of mishap happen to them accounted for. So we can find out how many boys had mishaps by just adding up all these numbers. Okay, so let's do that. We have 6 and 4, that's 10. Let's see, there's 15, 20, and then 8 and 9, that's 29. So I'm getting 29 boys had mishaps. Okay, but the question asks how many boys escaped mishaps. Alright, so we know we had 40 boys total, and we can subtract the number of boys that had mishaps, and we end up with 11 boys who escaped mishaps. Okay, so our answer is 11.